Hello everybody and welcome to Dale's. My name is Dale and I am so very happy to see you all here today. We are going to be wrapping up the 2023 stitch journal that I did. This is going to be the last video I'm going to do on it. It is up on the wall finally and it is wonderful. I am so very proud of doing that journal. So before I get into that, I just want to say welcome to all the new people who have joined me in the last little while, and then welcome back to everybody who comes and visits me whenever I put a video on. I do appreciate all your views and your comments and your likes and shares. That means a great deal to me moving forward my channel. I know there's going to be some very new people here because I made a post on a group that I belong to on Facebook, and I had close to 300 comments on this project. And so there was a lot of questions coming forward from that posting, and I hope I can answer some of them here. One of the questions, the most asked question was about the process of this. And I'm going to explain the process, but before we do, I need to explain the inspiration, because you need to have the inspiration to get through a process of stitching on a journal every day. Believe you me, you have to have something that is going to inspire you to do it and to continue to do it. And, you know, I've seen so many of these over the years on Pinterest and on the internet. There's a lot of different people doing these journals, and they're all doing it in a different way. And most that I've seen are journaling their stitches mostly. I mean, a lot of people just do a year of stitching. So it's just to get them in the mindset of stitching every day. And that works for me too. But as much as I wanted to stitch every day, I wanted to make my journal personal to me. So, of course, I wanted to practice my stitches, but I also wanted to do things that meant something to me and to my family. So I decided to add elements of our family and friends' lives into my stitching. So I put birthdays and anniversaries, and I even put deaths. I put memories. I put the weather. I tried to do, if it was a holiday, say Easter or Christmas, I put that in there. I put feelings, days that I had, whatever I was thinking about, that kind of thing. I tried to incorporate me into my journal, not just my stitching. So that is what my inspiration was to do. And my inspiration actually came from this Hilroy Scribbler. Now, I have actually, before I get onto that, I have a lot of videos, well, not a lot, maybe 5 or 6 videos on this project through 2023. And I'm going to put the link to all of those in the description of this video below, so that if you want to go back and look at things in that's more detailed, it's there. And in one of the videos, I talk about this because this is a book that my mom did. It's sort of a journal. It's got the date and whatever was going on in her family. And this book she got from calendars. She would buy a calendar every year or get one given to her, I don't know. And every day she would write on that calendar, and it was all kinds of different things. Mostly things about what her family were doing, events, appointments, where they were going, what they were doing, holidays, all that kind of stuff. And then at the end of the year, she took that calendar and she copied everything into here. And I have 3 of these. They go from 1966 to 1980. And this was my inspiration. So that is my template that I drew up. I just used a piece of photocopy paper. I took a calendar, drew out a calendar, and then I altered the lines to however I wanted it because I wanted different shapes of squares. I didn't just want it all one type of square. And then I would take that, put it on a window, put my fabric over top, trace it out, cut it out, and I had my month to stitch on. So you could do it that way. You can do 12 individual pieces, or you could just take one big sheet and draw out 12 months on it. I didn't want to do that because I didn't want to have a great big piece to drag around in case I was taking it somewhere with me. It was much easier just to roll up a small little piece and stuff it in a bag. The thread I used was, I had a huge ball, and I mean a huge ball of, Marion calls it a tangle, K3N calls it orts, a big ball of leftover yarn. Some of it was really, really old. I think some of maybe was even my mom's embroidery thread, and I used embroidery thread. I didn't use any other thicknesses or anything. It was all embroidery thread. And then I stitched one little block every day. I made it, at first I was just stitching whenever I had time during the day, but then I decided that in order to stitch the day, if I wanted to stitch the day, I had to have the day. So I got into the habit of stitching about 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night before I went to bed. So I would take an hour, I would come up here to the studio, I would put my music on in my ear, and I would stitch that 1 hour. And I have to tell you, that was the most relaxing, enjoyable hour of my day. And I would go to bed and I would sleep like a baby. And I think a lot of it had to do with that, because I would just, as I was stitching, I would let it all out. If I had things on my mind, or, things were upsetting me or whatever, I stitched it out. I also made new projects in my head as I was going. Of course, that's what we do. But it was a very calming, healing activity to do at that time of night. And I know a lot of you have said that, you can't commit to doing such a big project. How would you get through such a big project? I guess it depends on you. I thought that too. But to be honest with you, I didn't have any problems because it was just one little tiny square. If you think about a square on a calendar, it's not very big. It doesn't take long to stitch that, unless you're doing something really elaborate. But as far as things to stitch on, I stitched, if there was something going on, I stitched birthdays, and I stitched anniversaries and deaths and special days and how I was feeling, like I said. And if I didn't have any of those kind of things to put on that day, then I just stitched. I just practiced stitching. So I'm going to show you the last two videos that I recorded that have been sitting in my box over here on the camera for months, because I wanted to get it up on the wall so that I could do the whole thing. So now that it's on the wall, I'm going to show you the last two videos, and then I'm going to take and show you a comprehensive look, close-up look at the finished project on the wall. I know that there are many better embroiderers and stitchers out there than I am, but it's not about that. It's about enjoying what you're doing and creating something that is meaningful to you. So here we go, all the way to the end. Thank you so much for watching, and take care, everybody, and I will see you on the next video. Bye for now. Well, I've just sewed the back onto my stitching journal for 2023. In the end, I decided not to put a bunting in the back or in between. It's not a quilt, it's a wall hanging. So I just simply did a very plain but pretty print on the back, in much in the same color as the piece. And I've just gone around and sewn it. I've put some tabs on the top to hang it with. I have to get it doweled today. Now I have to seal up the bottom. I haven't done that yet. And then I'm going to give it a really good press. And then I'm just going to take and do running stitches along all the seams. And I haven't decided. I think I'm going to do it in kind of, let me see, a beigey tone. Something that's not going to stand out. Something that you'll see it, but it won't be dominant. I just want to go over these stitches a little bit after I give it a really good block again. I did block it, and I did have a little bit of problems with some of the red thread. And that was one thing that I must say that I never even gave any consideration to when I was using my big ball of old threads that I had found. I wanted to use them all up, but I never even thought about the Color Fast portion of that, because I don't know what kinds of threads they were. They weren't DMC. There might have been some DMC in there, but it wasn't all DMC. So I did have a little bit of a problem with some of my red bleeding a bit. I think I managed to stop most of it, but that was really upsetting. So it's exactly almost the size of my island. And I'm going to do a little bit more on it. I'm going to close it up, I'm going to give it a press, and I'm going to do this little bit of, I'm just going to do a plain running stitch up and down each one of these seams, just to kind of tie it all together. And then I'm going to hang it up on the wall. Actually, I can't hang it up on the wall because I have to paint that wall that is going on first, but I will show it to you hanging, and we will go through the whole 12 months for the very last time when I get it up hanging, or hanging it up. So yeah, it's pretty impressive, is it not? But I'm very proud of it. It turned out great. Can you believe it? I'm finally getting around to finishing this piece. It's been hanging on my little mock clothesline, or whatever you want to call it, on the ceiling there. My intention was to do this in April and have it up, but then of course we know what happened in April. And so today I decided I want it up on my wall, but first it's one piece on the top, and then I just have a sheet on the back. I don't have anything in between, no batting or anything, because it's not a quilt. I don't want it to be puffy and quilty kind of thing. So I decided that I would just do a simple running stitch between both layers around each month. So I'm just doing the ones that go under the months right now, and I'm not doing it on the best table. I'm actually not on a table. I'm on a really old rickety ironing board that used to belong to my mom, and I'm doing it here because number one, I can have it at the right height for me, and number two, the light is good over here. And number three is I don't have an available table right now. Everything has projects that I don't want to move. So that's why I'm fighting with it on here. And I am fighting because I'm using 6 strands of embroidery thread and pins to keep it flat. And the pins are depleting me of my blood source. Not on here though. I'm being very careful not to get any blood on here. Surprised so far I haven't, but I'm going through both layers just so that I can keep it sort of flat when it's hanging on the wall. I'm not being terribly fussy about my stitches. It's just a running stitch. And I'm just using a very, I guess it would sort of be like, it's a beigey color. Oh boy, must be a knot or something underneath there. And while I'm doing it, I'm revisiting this piece because it's been quite a while since I've looked at it. And I'm loving it all over again. I don't know, this is just such a work of love, this piece. And I'm reading some of the things, or not even reading, but I'm looking at what I've stitched because I've forgotten. I finished this in December last year. And I was so busy stitching it that I never really went back and looked at the months individually to see what I had on there. So I am doing that now. As I'm stitching past here, I'm looking at what I've done. And once again, I'm marveling at myself for doing this project. Now here, I'm underneath May. So last year, May 22nd, I planted my vegetable garden. Do you know yesterday I planted my vegetable garden this year? And that was the June the 10th. Look at how far behind we are this season. And that's not just me. Everybody's just planting their gardens now because it's been so wet. We've had rain, even today, just about half an hour south of us, a really bad storm just went through. And we were supposed to get rain, but somehow there's clouds around, but we have a bit of sun showing too, so maybe we're going to miss it. There's tornado warnings out, and it's not warm. We're on the cold side of this storm front, but a little bit south of us it's warm, so I guess that's what's going to make the storms nasty. So yeah, this is another revisit of this piece, and I can't wait to see this on the wall. I haven't even held it up to the wall yet, but I will very soon. Once I get this done, it's going on the wall, and I'll be so happy to finally see it as it was meant to be seen. I was going to enter this in an art show. The group that I belong to is Western Manitoba Art Group. Well, actually, it's not just Western Manitoba, it's for the whole of Manitoba. And I had entered, and I've talked about this before, I had entered a cow, one of my cows and one of my horses, my collage pieces in, and I won grand prizes for both of them. But, and they've been inviting me to enter in this year, and the deadline is past. I missed it. But when I entered the horse and the cow was during the pandemic, and we could do it virtually, so I didn't have to actually send my pieces away. And this time, you have to send your pieces to Winnipeg, to a gallery. And after my experience with Levi losing my horse, I don't want to send this anywhere. It's not leaving this house at all until I'm ready to pass it on to somebody, but it is not going anywhere. So I kind of, and then I broke my shoulder and I didn't get it finished in time, so it was moot anyway. But I kind of, as much as I really wanted to feature this piece, I don't want it leaving here. I don't want to take the chance of it getting lost or getting damaged or getting stolen. You know, I mean, we're talking about things that happen these days, and I just don't want to do that. So it's staying here with me because somebody wants to see it, they have to come to this gallery, because that's where it's going to be featured, is on my own wall. But I will take a video of it on my wall for you, because I know a lot of you were following this last year, and even some of you were going to try doing one this year. So I am very happy to inspire you with this little piece. So now I've gone under June, May, now I'm going under April. What were we doing last April? Oh, the robins came back on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, on the 19th of April. Oh, gosh. And I first worked in my garden in April because I've stitched rakes and shovels and things like that. We had snow, we had rain, we had a lot of wind, we had sun. We went to Winnipeg at the end of April, and we met our newest little great nephew, Fritz, who is totally adorable. And yeah, that was April. So I'm going to continue with this. Hopefully my arm, this is actually pretty tough on the arm right now because I'm having to lift my arm. I'm doing better with the lifting of it, but not the sideways. Ow, that doesn't work going this way. Going up like that's fine, but not out. We are working on the rotation part of the shoulder now, and it's very painful. Having a hard time with this part, but I'll get there. All right, I'm going to take a break, but this is looking okay. So pretty soon you will see this on the wall. Well, it's finally up on the wall. It's in a little hall wall. We walk through a million times a day. And even though it doesn't look like it's very big on this wall, it pretty much takes up the whole wall. So I'm just going to go a little closer, and I'm going to show you month by month. This is my 2023 daily stitch calendar that I did last year from January to December. And I did, every block represents one day, and there's 12 squares there. Every square equals 1 month. So here is January. I have, here's an anniversary of my parents' marriage, a birthday of my brother. Here's a day that I received the traveling spindles, so I did a spindle. A lot of it is just plain stitching. This was an anniversary of my father's passing. He loved birds, so I put a bird on there for him. Here's February. And this was my Aunt Margaret's birthday. She was very influential. She was very close to me. She was a quilter, so I did a little stitch for her. This was a day I played the piano all day long, so I just put music. I must have been enjoying tea. I was enjoying my home. This was Valentine's Day. Lent began. More hearts here. Put love for Valentine's Day. I love you. And that was February. I should tell you too that each month is outlined in a different color. So before I stitched the month, I went around and I stitched all the blocks in a different color. So this January was this color and February was this color. This is March. I did things that were looking up for some reason. I don't know what the mood it was. So I did the moon phases. I did airplane goes up. This was the anniversary of the day we put our dog down. So I was thinking about her. Another birthday of my nephew, and this goes up. And the balloon, I had the thing go all the way to the end. This was the day that my mom passed away, so my heart was broken. St. Patrick's Day, the first day of spring. And then I just, you know, if I had an idea that there was nothing I was going to do, I just stitched. And then I did a little weather here, still snow, still cold, no spring to behold. April, it was still Lent. All the Lent, I put a little cross for every day of Lent. It was a daffodil. This was Good Friday probably. This one was just, I don't know what I was doing there. Easter, and then more stitches. I started doing these kind of things when it was windy. On a windy day, if it had been a windy day, I just changed my stitches around. I did a lot of different stitches, and maybe I should talk about some of those too. I did a lot of straight stitches, but this was a wrap straight stitch. I did, what do you call them, French knots. The birthday, the day the robins came back, another birthday. Was raining this day. This was a windy day. This was, we went to Winnipeg and then we were gone all this time. We came home here. So that was April. May is one of my favorite ones for some reason. I did some tulips and another birthday. A lot of stitching. Did a little flower. Some trees, this owl, different stitches. That's my son's 35th birthday, and we had forest fires, so I did forest fires. But see, I started this, I did this part of the forest fire here, okay, on this one day. But when I got on, I went through here, and I went all along here, and when I got back to this day here, which was the next week, there was still forest fires going on and I didn't have anything. So I continued that and I did it there too. You know, so you can do that. If you have an idea here and you get to this day and you still can't quite figure out, you can carry that idea into that block then. This is when I planted my garden. And then I practiced some more stitches here. Did some, and you can do different shapes with your stitches. You can do a straight stitch, but you can change the shape of it, you know. You can go around, you can make it like this, you can do this. You just get a little bit creative. There's a blanket stitch in there. I turned it into a face, sticking his tongue out. And then because I was in the garden and I love the hymn in the garden, I sang that years ago as a solo. I started stitching the words to that. And I stitched a rose and some more flowers. So that was May. June, because I'm fooling around with it, it's not hanging straight. June, I started stitching camp. I did a little quilt, and then I continued the words to in the garden. Another birthday. little butterfly, flowers. Here I didn't know if I was coming or going. Birthday of my husband. These are windy days, so I was doing the weather on these. You see here again, straight stitches, but I just did different things with it. We had tornadoes here. It was a beautiful day to hang your clothes on the line. And this is July. And I had continued the words to the song sometimes in here. Otherwise, I was just making pretty things. There was another birthday and some more words. Now this happened kind of by fluke. On this one here, I just stitched this one block. And then the next day I didn't have anything in particular, so I thought, well, what if I just continue that? So I did. And then I did it here too, but then I had something else here and something else here. And then I had, this was the anniversary of us living in this home in McCrory, so I put that. And then I thought, no, I'm going to continue. I don't have anything else planned, so I just added to this. And then, you know, there was other things, Tony Bennett, who was a favorite singer of mine. And this was created just by me deciding when I got to the day, what could I add to this? You know, so it was a good day for a bike ride. So that was July. August, I wrote a poem, The Fire, and I stitched the whole thing. Yeah, it's my poem, and I even signed it, my name. September, I tried to bring in the start of some fall colors in here. So here the apples are falling from the tree, and I got that idea from walking. My neighbor had an apple tree, has an apple tree, and I was walking by and I saw apples falling. So I thought, oh, that'd be a nice thing to put on my stitching journal later on. And then this was just, I just did these stitches. And then I thought, oh, I'll do that again because I kind of liked it. And then I thought, when I got to this one, I thought, oh, and in where I live, they were harvesting already. And I thought, why don't I turn this into a field for this harvester? So I had already done these two. I hadn't even thought of this. But when I got to this one, I thought, you know, it sort of looks like a field. Why don't I just add to it? So I did. And this would have been my mom's birthday. Where am I here? So more colors, different stitches. I went for my mammogram. The geese were flying that day, so I did that. Just a Canadian flag. I love fall, cocoa, different colors of leaves. My mammogram was clear. 17 years anniversary of my first mammogram after breast cancer, so it was an important date for me. Some more different stitches. Autumn is my favorite color. You know, sometimes when I couldn't think of something important, I just wrote, you know, something. This is October. It was my cousin's birthday. Again, I did this one block like this, and then when I got to this block, I thought, no, I'm just going to angle it a different way. And there was leaves falling. It's my 68th birthday. Just different stitches. Little birdhouse. Thanksgiving, Canadian Thanksgiving. Again, I got to this one, and I didn't have anything to put here, so I thought, okay, I'll just take that one down this way. Same thing with this one. This one was a sunset. What else we got here? Pumpkins, a leaf. It was the anniversary of my brother's passing. Different stitches. It was our anniversary, Gary and mine. And snowflake, believe it or not, it was our first snow. It started here, but then I said it was our first snow there. the geese, a close-up of geese flying. This would have been my dad's birthday, and it would have been my brother's birthday. And then we get to November, and November here is cold. So a lot of the colors here are cold colors. And I was doing circles, and I thought, why don't I just do circles this month if I have nothing else? So I did yin and yang, and I did a wheel, and I did some more circles here, and then I started circles, and I did the same thing. I continued on here, you know, my brother's birthday and then my sister-in-law's birthday, but in between I was doing circles. And when I got to here, I thought, oh, I'll just keep on going with the circles. It didn't mean anything, it was just a way to fill, and it turned out really nice. So then I was getting ready for Vlogmas. It was a brother's birthday, and December was actually very easy. I decided I was going to do ornaments, so I did ornaments. I did joy, hope, peace, and love, and this I have to tie the bow for that. A star, a tree, a sleigh, candy cane, a snow house, winter begins, love, silent night, Merry Christmas, Boxing Day. My cousin passed away here. And then when I got to the very last day, I could have done New Year's, but I didn't really want to do New Year's, so I just did the last stitch, and I've left the needle in there and the thread. And also, I don't know if you can hear it or not, but on this month, I put my template inside. So the paper's inside there that I used to do this with. I thought it's fitting to put that template right back in there. So that's my stitch journal. It's wonderful. I really am enjoying coming out of this little door here, which is the bathroom door. And first thing I see is this in the morning. It's wonderful. So thank you so much for coming along with me on this journey. It's a journey that has taken me through all kinds of emotions. And it's been a really great project. And it wasn't all that difficult to do because you're just doing one little square every day. If you're doing something like this, you might want to give yourself more time, but these kind of things don't take time. So if any of you have any questions, just leave them in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer them. And I hope that I've inspired somebody to try this. If you don't want to do a daily one, do a weekly one or a monthly one. You don't have to do it every day. You could do it every week or every month. Lots of options with something like this. But make it you. That's the important part. Make it what you want it to be. That's what I've done. Thank you for watching, everybody. Take care. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.